Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome to our second section of class 11 bio classes, and we are studying the lesson transport in plants. And in our previous lesson we have completed few terms which are related to the transport of plants. So let us just have a quick revision of those terms. One was the imbibition. So imbibition is what? That the adherence, when the molecules of water are adhering to the molecule of a colloidal substance which is hydrophilic in nature. So these are the molecules of water and they are adhering to the particles or the molecule of the adhering substance. So that substance to which is attracting the water molecules, that substance is called as imbibant, and the water molecule or the solvent molecules are called as imbibate. So when the for example we have seen the absorption of water by the seeds. So the dry seeds, how they absorb water? They are attracting the water molecules because of the hydrophilic substances like cellulose, pectin, etc. present in the cell wall. So these water molecules, they get absorbed. They do not get absorbed. They do not make any solution there. They just get attracted towards the cell wall. And then only, but because cell wall is permeable, so these molecules, they go inside the cell wall, and then there they are entering into the other cells or the cell membrane of the cells of the seed through the cell membrane by the process of osmosis. So this is what we have studied in our previous chapter, and today also we are going to study some of our terms which are related to the absorption of water in the plant and how this water and minerals or the food prepared in the leaves, they get transported. This is the mechanism, etc. we are going to study in our this lesson. So today we are going to study the osmotic relationships of the plant parts. So how the osmotic relationships are working in the plant part, for that we are required to know some of the terms, and one of the term is water potential. And to understand water potential, we are required to know about the structure of the plant cell. Now plant cell is working like a osmotic system. Osmotic system, we can say it is a plant cell. And the plant cell is lying into the medium of water. Either we can say the root hair cell, or we can see the cells of the plant which are lying in the medium of water. How they are lying in the medium of water? Because other cells are also having the water in them. This cell is also having the water in them. So all the cells, in compared to other cells, they are lying in the medium of water. So water medium is there in which the cells are present or lying. Then every cell consists of an outer cell wall which is permeable. The cell wall is permeable, means it is allowing all the molecules to pass through it. Then underlying the cell wall, we know that there is a semi-permeable plasma membrane, or we can say cell membrane. This I have drawn with red color. Then in this semi-permeable plasma membrane encloses the cell organelles and a large vacuole which is filled by aqueous solution, and we call it the sap. Cell sap. The aqueous solution is called as cell sap, and this vacuole is also surrounded by a membrane. This is also semi-permeable and we call it tonoplast. So the membrane which surrounds the vacuole, it is also semi-permeable and it is called as tonoplast. Now, then when the cell, because cell is placed in the aqueous solution medium, means it is either it is absorbing water from the neighboring cell, or it is, if it is a root hair cell, it is absorbing water from the soil. So water enters into it by the process of osmosis, and the cell content volume increases. The volume of the cytoplasm increases. How? Because the water enters into the vacuole, the size of the vacuole increases. So this increase in the size of vacuole causes a pressure on the cell membrane or on the wall, cell wall. So this pressure, what it is called as? The pressure of the cell content on the cell wall or cell membrane. What it is called as? It is called as Turgor pressure. This I have mentioned with TP. And equal and opposite pressure is exerted on this solution to maintain the equilibrium of the cell. So that equal and opposite pressure is created by the cell wall on the components of the or the contents of the cytoplasm, and that pressure is called as wall pressure. So that I have mentioned with the WP. So when these two pressures are counteracting one another, they maintain the shape of the cell, and any one pressure, when it becomes less, it is causing the cell to become either turgid or flaccid. Now we will be studying about the water potential. Now potential means what? Capacity. So capacity of water to diffuse in the other solution when separated by semi-permeable membrane is known as the water potential. So whose water potential will be more? Obviously the water potential of pure water will be maximum, because there all the molecules will be of water only, and so they will be having their full energy in them, and this solvent will be easily moving into the other solvent where there are less water molecules. So water potential will be maximum in the pure water. Now when we are having pure water here in a vessel, its water potential will be maximum, and when we will be adding the solute molecules in it, its water potential will be becoming lower and lower. How much lower? As much as solute molecules will be added, it will be lower to that. Means water potential is equal to solute potential. Means as much as solute we are going to add in a pure water, its potential will be lowered to that much solute potential. Now solute potential means capacity of the number of solute molecules added. So water potential will be equal to solute potential. Then Water potential is denoted, this symbol is psi. Water potential is denoted by psi W. And this term is coined by Slattery and Taylor in 1960. And they told that water potential is also equal to diffusion pressure deficit or suction pressure. Means diffusion pressure deficit will be what? As much as we will be going on adding the solute molecules in it, as much will be the difference or lowering of the diffusion capacity of the water molecule. So that difference of the water potential of the pure water and when the water is in the solution form. So that difference in the diffusion capacity will be called as the diffusion pressure deficit. So water potential can be equal to the diffusion pressure deficit. Means how much solute molecules will be added, that much will be the lowering in the capacity of diffusion of water. Then components of water potential are the metric potential, it is denoted by psi m. Then solute potential, it is also called as osmotic potential, that is psi s. And pressure potential or hydrostatic potential, that is the psi p. So now we will be studying about these components in detail. Now the first component of water potential is metric potential. It is denoted by psi m. And metric potential is actually the solute potential or the addition of solute in water potential. So all the in the cytoplasm, large number of molecules are there, like molecules of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, etc. So these all are the colloidal substances and they are hydrophilic in nature. So when in the cell, when water enters and these are hydrophilic in nature, the carbohydrates, proteins, etc., the water molecules are adsorbed on the surfaces of these colloidal substances. And due to the adsorption of water molecules on the surfaces of the colloidal substances, the immobilization takes place in the water molecule or in the cytoplasm. Due to this immobilization, the chemical potential or the chemical potential means the potential of water is getting decreased because these are adsorbed on the surface of colloidal substances, and so these molecules do not move. And we know that when the molecules are randomly moving, then they gain the energy, kinetic energy, and this causes the potential increase in the water. So when these water molecules they get adsorbed, their mobility is stopped, they become immobile, and that is why when the solute is added into the pure water, the colloidal substances of the solute adsorb water molecules at their surfaces, they immobilize the water molecules, and thus they cause the reduction in the potential of water. So this reduction in water potential we can also call as chemical potential. So the water potential of the young cells, because these young cells are absorbing lot of water, and so their water potential will be maximum in them, because these are new cells and they are continuously absorbing water from the neighboring cells. But when the cells become mature, the water potential becomes negligible because they are not absorbing water and they are well, their cell wall is well hydrated already, so the water is not being absorbed by the mature cells, it is absorbed by the young cells, and so the water potential is maximum in young cells and almost negligible in the mature cells. So matrix potential, why the matrix potential is becoming less in the mature cells? Because they are being immobilized by the carbohydrates, proteins, etc. And in young cells, maximum number of water is there, so the matrix potential is higher there. Then comes the solute potential or osmotic potential. Solute potential is also called as osmotic potential, or we can write it SP also. So solute potential is written by psi S, or osmotic potential, that is OP, or SP, that is solute potential, and we can calculate it by CRT. Now, when the solutes are added in pure water, the chemical potential or the water potential of pure water decreases. Either the solvent or the pure water, when the solute molecules are added, the solute chemical potential decreases. So when more solute, there will be less water potential. So solute potential decreases the water potential. More solute potential, less water potential. So they are just opposite to one another. Now, the third component of water potential, let me tell you, these are very confusing terms. So you watch the video again and again to understand whatever I have said, because all these terms are very confusing and difficult to understand. So pressure potential is the third component of water potential. So what is pressure potential? It is the increase in the incoming water. Means pressure is generated when water comes inside the cell. Means pressure generated by diffusing water molecules into the cell. So as much as the water molecules keep on coming in the cell, they are increasing the pressure in the cell, pressure on the cell sap. So you can see that where the water is coming from all the sides in the cell and it is moving, reaching up to the cell sap, volume of the cell sap increases, and this causes the increase in the pressure potential. Now pressure potential is denoted by symbol psi P. Now when there will be more pressure, there will be more osmosis. Means more water molecules keep on coming into the cell, the more will be the osmosis. Now difference in the free energy of water. Now why there will be more osmosis? Because difference in the free energy of water, that is the osmotic pressure, on two sides of semi-permeable membrane. Because one side of the semi-permeable membrane there will be hypertonic solution and other side there will be hypotonic solution. So water molecule will keep on coming from hypotonic to hypertonic. And so because of this difference in the free energy. Now free energy of water is what? As I had explained here, when the water molecules are there, they are randomly moving here and there and they have the kinetic energy. So the water molecules, when they are freely moving, they are having their kinetic energy, and that will be the free energy. But when solute is added here, due to the addition of solute, the free energy goes on decreasing and decreasing, and so that is decreasing the water potential also. So because why more pressure? When more pressure of water means due to the inward movement of water into the cell, more pressure will be there, and so when more pressure will be there will be more osmosis. So this movement will be from in which direction? From hypotonic solution, the water molecules due to their free energy will move into the hypertonic solution, and so there will be osmosis. So more water molecules entering, more will be the osmosis. Second reason is increase in temperature or pressure. Means when the temperature or the pressure is increased in the hypotonic solution, then it causes increase in free energy, and so the osmosis also increases. Now these terms we will be understanding by differentiating them. First of all, we will differentiate the terms osmotic pressure and osmotic potential. Now osmotic pressure, when it is developing by entry of water in the cell. Means when water keep on coming into the cell, then the pressure which develops, we call it osmotic pressure. And osmotic potential, when it develops, it is developing due to the reduction in free energy of water when solute is added. Means when solute is added, the free energy or the mobility of the water goes on decreasing, and so this osmotic potential will be developing here. Osmotic potential is also called as the solute potential. So as much as solute will go on adding, as much we are going on decreasing the free energy of water to move into the cell, and so this will be called as the osmotic potential. Now osmotic pressure will always be positive, and osmotic potential will always be negative, because water potential of pure water we call as 0, and when we go on adding solute, it goes on becoming negative and negative. So osmotic potential develops due to the addition of solute particles, so it will be measured in, it will always be negative. Then equal osmotic pressure is equal to pressure needed to prevent the entry of water molecule into the cell. Means if we want to prevent the entry of water molecule into the cell, we have to apply same pressure with which the water molecules are entering into the cell. So osmotic pressure is what? The pressure which is required to prevent the entry of water molecule into the cell. So it is equal to that. So osmotic pressure is equal to that pressure with which the water is entering into the cell. So if equal pressure will be applied from the cell to prevent its entry, then it will be called as osmotic pressure. Now osmotic potential is cannot be measured, it can be calculated. So osmotic potential is also the solute potential. So it is calculated by the formula CRT, in which C is the concentration of solute particles, R is the gas constant, it is a constant given by the scientist who gave this formula, and T is the temperature. So when we know these values, we can calculate what is the osmotic potential or solute potential. Then osmotic potential and metric potential. What is the difference? Osmotic potential, just now we have seen how it develops when the free energy of water molecule is reduced when solute is added. So, osmotic potential develops due to decrease in chemical or free. Now, chemical energy is the free energy by which the water molecules are diffusing. So, when this energy decreases due to decrease in water molecules per mole of your solution, means when the water molecules are decreasing by the addition of solute molecules, their free energy is decreasing, then osmotic potential develops. But metric potential, it is difficult to understand and it is not told clearly in many books. So you may get confused, but at this level, in class 11th level, you have to understand this term. Otherwise, the scientists are describing metric potential in different ways. Some the scientists who are studying the soil biology, they are describing metric potential in another way, and those who are describing the plant cell, they are describing it another way. So at this class 11 level, you have to understand metric potential in this way. So what is metric potential? It is the decrease in free energy of water due to immobilization. Immobilization, I had told, when suppose this is the colloid molecule and it absorbs water molecule. So these water molecules are not able to move freely and so they become immobilized. So this is the molecule of colloid, like carbohydrate, fat, lipid, protein can be, or cellulose molecule, and these are the water molecules. Because these colloidal molecules are hydrophilic, so they will be attracting the water molecules, and these water molecules will not get absorbed in them, it will get absorbed on the surface. So by absorption, these water molecules will become immobilized, and so the water metric potential, as much as the water molecules go on becoming immobilized, as much will be the metric potential of water. Then osmotic potential is due to presence of solute, means when solute is added, osmotic potential is going on increasing and increasing. Metric potential is due to the presence of adsorbent colloids like carbohydrates, etc. When these type of substances are present, then they are immobilizing water molecules, and so metric potential goes on increasing. Then osmotic potential is essential for water relation to plant cell, means absorption of water into the plant cell. For that, osmotic potential is necessary. But metric potential is necessary by for the development of fruit, means size of the fruit should increase or seed is germinating. So when these conditions are there, then it is related to metric potential, means when water enters into them, it is absorbed by because lots of nutrients are present inside the seed, lots of nutrients are present inside the fruit, so they will go on attracting water and they will be adhering, they will be absorbing the water into them, and this is causing the increase in the size. So these are the differences, and I hope you all have understood these terms with these differences. Now, the difference between water potential and diffusion pressure deficit. We will be understanding these terms with these differences so that it will be clear to you. Now, water potential is and diffusion pressure deficit, both are the same thing, because water potential is the new term for DPD. Earlier it was called as DPD, and DPD is old term for water potential, means both are same terms. Then water potential is due to reduction in free energy as compared to pure water, means when by the addition of solute molecules the free energy of water is reduced. So then that is called as the water potential. Means when in pure water solute molecules are added, the free energy of the pure water reduces, and this reduction is called as the water potential. Whereas diffusion pressure deficit is reduction in diffusion pressure as compared to pure water. Means pure water will be diffusing faster than the water in solution form. So the difference in the rate of diffusion for pure water and the solution or solvent is called as the diffusion pressure deficit. Means the pressure of diffusion in pure water minus pressure of diffusion in solution form of water, that is the solvent, that will be equal to diffusion pressure deficit. Then in relation to water potential, water moves from higher water potential to lower water potential, and with reference to DPD, movement of water is from solution with higher DPD, means more water there, then only there will be the higher DPD, to lower DPD, means less water molecule in a solution, so that will be having obviously less DPD. So movement of water will be from the solution with higher DPD to the solution with lower DPD. Then water potential is measured by adding solute potential, pressure potential and metric potential, and DPD is measured by osmotic pressure minus turgor pressure or wall pressure. In a flaccid cell, turgor pressure is not there, wall pressure is not there, then the DPD will be equal to osmotic pressure. Now our next topic is ascent of sap. This also you have studied in class 10th also, that ascent of sap means upward movement of the water and dissolved minerals through xylem cells. So what is ascent of sap? Upward movement of water and dissolved substances from roots to the leaves through stem is called ascent of sap. Now there are two theories proposed for explaining the ascent of sap. One of the theory is root pressure theory and the other is transpirational pull theory. Now root pressure theory is proposed by Priestley in 1916, and according to him, root pressure is a hydrostatic pressure developing in trachyary elements, means tracheids of xylem, due to continuous inflow of water, means from the root hair cell the water keeps on coming inside, passing through cortical cells, then falling into xylem. So continuous inflow of water in root cells which pushes the sap upwards, means when it is passing through the cortical cells and falling into xylem cell, it is going upward. So why it is going upward? Because continuous flow of water is pushing the water from below to upward. So this is the theory proposed by Priestley, and it was called as root pressure theory. Now experiment for demonstration of root pressure. This also you have studied in class 10. We will be hurriedly revising it. So in this experiment we have taken a well watered potted plant and we have cut it from the top, leaving few inches of the stem in the pot. Then we have connected a capillary tube to the cut part of the stem and we have tied both of them with a rubber tubing. Then we will be marking the level of the water after few hours. We have taken colored water here. We will be marking the initial level and then we will be leaving this experiment for some hours, and after some hours when we will mark the level of the colored water, we will observe that the level of water has risen up. So this rise in water level, we conclude that it is due to the water being pushed up into the stem. And so this rise in the water in the capillary tube will be called as the water due to the water rising up due to the root pressure. Now the second theory for describing ascent of sap is proposed by Dixon and Joly in 1894, and it is called as the transpirational pull theory or cohesion tension transpiration pull theory. Now this theory is based on the cohesive force of attraction in the water molecules. As we know that water molecules are held together by hydrogen bonds, and this causes the cohesive attraction, cohesive force in the water molecules, due to which water molecules are attached to one another and can remain in column form. Means they do not get separated, they remain attached to one another. Then another force is adhesive force of the water molecules due to attachment of water molecules to the walls of tracheae, xylem tracheates. So suppose here these are the walls of xylem tracheates. These are having very narrow lumen. So when the water molecules are adhering to them, they are making the surface tension to the wall of the, due to the attachment to the wall of the tracheates, and they make the capillary attractive force in the xylem tracheates. So even if a drop of water is entering into the tracheate, it rises very up due to the adhesive force towards the wall of the tracheate. So these forces are there, and another force is the transpiration pull. So this will be understanding with this diagram. So what happens during the daytime when transpiration is taking place, we know that the water vapor is being lost through the stomata. And because the water vapor is being lost, there will be high osmotic potential into the cells of the leaf. So when water is being lost, the leaves are in deficit of water. So they are absorbing water from the xylem cells. So water will be passing into the xylem cells to the neighboring cells, and because water molecules are taken from the xylem cells and they are being lost by the cells of the leaf. So water from the back will be replacing the water molecule which is lost. So suppose one water molecule is lost from this cell. The cell will take one water molecule from xylem, and so from the back, in the continuation, in the column of the trachea, xylem trachea, one water molecule will be shifted up to replace that lost water molecule. So this replacement will be continuous from lower to upside. So all the molecules from lower to up, they will be shifting upward. So there will be loss of one water molecule here. And so one water molecule will enter into this root hair cell. So this is how transpiration pull is helping in absorption of water. Another factor which is helping, that is the cohesive force, because water molecules are in column like, they are cohesively attached with one another, so they will maintain the column. So when one molecule is lost from the leaf, the other molecules will be replacing, they will be shifting by one, and there will be loss of one water molecule in root hair. So this is how the cohesive force is helping in absorption of water molecule. Another thing, the capillary force in the trachea, because water molecules are adhered to the wall of the trachea, so they are rising very high up. Even a drop of water is going very high up into the tracheiary elements of the xylem. So very little amount of water can rise up to a very high distance in the plants. So that is why this is the reason tall trees are able to get the water from roots. So these three forces, transpirational pull, cohesive force and the adhesive force, are helping in the absorption of water. So now with this we are going to end our today's session. I hope all have understood. If not understood, you can replay the video, and again I am telling you, go on, because little I am teaching. So go on making the notes, the topics which I have explained, and whatever I have explained, you are supposed to write in your classwork copy. Okay, thank you.